So, it's been 6 years since the launch of Sea of Thieves on Xbox and Windows PC. A game that started out as a barren pirate sandbox has become Xbox Game Studios' most successful live service game. Full of life, PvE story missions, Jack Sparrow, ghost ships, Monkey Island, ghosts, sea monsters, merpeople, megalodons, krakens. The game is nearly unrecognizable. Sea of Thieves just celebrated 40 million unique players, and with the game finally launched on PlayStation, this number is set to rise. Through years of updates, Rare was able to deliver a sandbox game for all ages and bring life to the pirate world we know today. But why did so many gamers toss Sea of Thieves aside? And why did so many, like myself, believe that Sea of Thieves wouldn't last more than a year? Let alone the 6 it's still going on. And most importantly, is this game actually worth playing in 2024? Well, in this video, we're going to take a deep dive into all of those things. And if you have any questions that aren't covered in this video, I do stream Sea of Thieves on Twitch, so come and ask. In order to fully understand why gamers didn't believe in Sea of Thieves, we have to take a look at version 1. Sea of Thieves, when it first launched, was a pretty stock standard pirate sandbox game. You could sail to islands, dig up buried treasure, fight skeletons, and customize your ship, deliver some goods, or head to a skeleton fort. And that was about it. Sea of Thieves focused very heavily on emergent gameplay, and the devs wanted players to decide how they wanted to play, which works in theory, but the players didn't have much to do other than grinding the same voyages over and over again, which caused players to leave the game, meaning this emergent gameplay theory fell apart, since there was no players to encounter in the end, which did cause an outcry in the community. Once you had reached Pirate Legend by hitting max level on all your trading companies, you were greeted with yet another grind. Sea of Thieves at this point didn't seem like it would last, but most importantly, it was a bare bones version of the game that Rare delivered was the center of this controversy. Players felt like they were playing a $15 to $30 Xbox arcade game rather than a AAA pirate sandbox. It lacked content, and the Order of Souls was just fighting the same skeleton over and over again to earn a skull, then travel to the next island and repeat the process. There was no variety of skeletons, it was just the same skeleton. Even the bosses was just a skeleton with a bit more health and a name. The Gold Hoarders was just as bad. Get a map, sail to an island, dig up the chest, and repeat. And the merchants, which were the most hated by players, had you gather different types of animals to deliver them to outposts. Sea of Thieves was a game focused around community without any sort of community features. There was no trading, there was no real economy, there was no guild system. The most community thing you could do was grief other players, which really seemed to be the only point of PvP because there was no death penalty. So if you were doing a fort, you'd have the same ship coming back over and over again until they finally beat you, just because you ran out of supplies. Players agreed that the game had potential. It looked insane on the surface, and Rare did an amazing job at the actual visuals of the game. But as soon as you jumped in and tried to discover what the world had to offer, you quickly realized that the world didn't have anything to offer to be discovered. Just an endless grind for cosmetics and an empty shell of a game that could have been. So now we know what Sea of Thieves was like when it first released, but let's take a look at all the things that were added since launch and the current sandbox experience for players picking up the game in 2024. Outside of small tweaks, quality of life, and balance changes, the content that have been added includes, but is not limited to, the Devil's Roar volcano area, skeleton ships, gunpowder skeletons, sea monsters, ghosts, ghost forts, ghost ships, gold vaults, new voyages for all of the companies, Hunter's Call and fishing, Fort of Fortunes, Fort of the Damned, Safer Seas PvE mode, Tall Tales, which are like story missions, a Pirates of the Caribbean Disney collaboration, a Monkey Island collaboration, Megalodons, a new tutorial zone, fire and fire bombs, a whole new earnable currency in the form of doubloons, Reaper's bounties, Reaper's mark, emissary quests, pets, curses. You know what? You get it. Sea of Thieves has added so much to do, it's not even funny. The game is basically unrecognizable when compared to its former self. The team at Rare have outdone themselves and they never gave up on the game, and it paid off. Sea of Thieves in 2024 is a game worth playing, and a game that is well worth paying full price. It no longer feels like a gimmicky Xbox arcade game that you might buy to kill a few hours because you're bored. You can easily lose track of time sailing the seas, and if you're one of those people who finds yourself saying, "Oh, I'll just do this one last thing," and then you're 10 things deep, well then you're really going to enjoy Sea of Thieves, and I don't think you're ever going to get off the game. The core gameplay loop has remained similar. Rare's idea of emergent gameplay is still very much alive. You can run into other players and world events that completely turn your plans upside down at every corner, and there's no real way to plan your voyages. You could be saying, "Oh, I'm gonna go to that skeleton fort," suddenly you're attacked by another player, hit by a megalodon, and skeleton ship pops up. Who knows? The possibilities are endless. Now, Rare do understand that this kind of gameplay isn't for everyone, and with the introduction of Tall Tales, which act as story missions, the Jack Sparrow and Monkey Island Tall Tales will take you outside of the Sea of Thieves, allowing you to complete them without the worry of other pirates, giant sharks, or even pesky skeleton ships messing with your fun. While the others keep you inside the main area, Rare has recently added PvE servers where you'll earn a bit less gold, but you're able to slowly learn the ropes of the game, completing any tall tales or voyages in your own time until you're ready to jump in to high seas. But even in these servers, you will still be surprised with the random PvE events. You just don't have to worry about other players coming and sinking you midway through your tall tale. Without spoiling the final tall tale, the islands they crafted specifically for them are breathtaking. Look at this view. Rare have created an open-world pirate sandbox that appeals to gamers of all ages, all skill levels, and all kinds. The PlayStation launch is a huge part in the evolution of Sea of Thieves. With more players on the seas, this means more interactions with other players, and they are much more frequent. Servers feel alive. You always find yourself alert, just in case a ship comes barreling towards you from over the horizon. And you might find yourself screaming, Yeah? This is the game Rare wanted to release. Now, at the end of the day, this is a pirate sandbox game. You can do whatever you want, and most sandbox games don't really note or fully flesh out a story or lore surrounding the game. Sea of Thieves is an exception. The time and detail put into the Sea of Thieves universe is unparalleled. The original set of Gold Hoarder Tall Tales see you solving puzzles, delving into caves to unlock secrets and break curses from long ago. On top of this, Rare have added lore journals within the Tall Tales written by the characters of the game, and these journals aren't exclusive to Tall Tales either. They're scattered all around the seas, tied to small commendations or achievements just by finding them. No matter your playstyle, the sea has something to offer you, and these missions clearly weren't an afterthought to make people happy. Each Tall Tale pushes the story and your understanding of the world in a different direction. And then we get to the Pirates of the Caribbean and Monkey Island Tall Tales. These take you outside the Sea of Thieves world and into the worlds of those respective IPs. These tales are even more meticulously crafted than the original tales, and Rare even managed to loop these tales into the Sea of Thieves universe. Yeah, Captain Jack Sparrow is canon in Sea of Thieves. I personally played the Pirates of the Caribbean tales the day they came out, and it was genuinely the most fun and interesting story missions I've done in any game. And I'm not the kind of guy to care about story missions. I usually just rush through the campaign so I can get the achievements. Now, this huge resurgence of Sea of Thieves has you wondering, and you're watching this video so you're definitely still wondering, is it worth playing in 2024? Well, based on the first half of this video, you know it's not lacking in any content. There's always going to be something for you to do. On the seas solo or on the seas with your crew, if you enjoy working as a team, you enjoy interacting with random players you run into, and are looking for the game for you and your friends to mess around in, not take too seriously, this game might be for you. It's worth mentioning the world solo can feel a little bit lonely, especially if you're not the kind of player to interact with others. But if you're willing to chat with the other players you find on the seas, you'll absolutely have a good time solo. Some may be enemies, but every once in a while you have a pretty wholesome or funny interaction. Sea of Thieves is also cross-play and cross-progression. You got PC friends? Play with them. PlayStation and Xbox friends? Play with them. There's no limits to who you can play with, and most importantly, Sea of Thieves is a game all about balance. Unlike some games where you'll have to level up in order to play with your friends, Sea of Thieves has none of that. If you jump in with someone who's been playing since launch, you'll have no issues. The only difference is the knowledge of the game and skill levels. You're not going to run into a Giga Chad with a weapon that one-shots you before you even have the chance to look up. So, Sea of Thieves is one of those games that turned player opinions and industry opinions since launch. Rare's amazing team have truly created a pirate sandbox game that not only looks gorgeous from the outside, but one that's full of content, story, lore, and most importantly, players. A complete reversal since launch. If you haven't jumped into Sea of Thieves yet, pick it up. I'm even giving away a few on my Twitch stream. Convince a crew to do the same. You'll have a blast. No one can tell you how to properly play Sea of Thieves, and that's exactly how Rare intended it. And who knows, the first day you might even get eaten by the Kraken.